It's February 9, 2023. It's a Thursday, excuse me, and the time is 8:01. Welcome to the program Agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, thanking you for joining us this morning. Thank you also to all of you who are subscribers of Cignal TV and, of course, followers of One News PH or One News on YouTube as well as on Facebook. Maraming salamat po also to PLDT Home Fiber Optic Internet that allows mobility of the program via their internet facilities. Okay, today we start our day with a very interesting statement from a U.S. Supreme Court Justice, if I'm not mistaken, although I believe he's no longer with us, but it is from Antolin Scalia, Justice Scalia, who said, "I attack ideas, I don't attack people. And some very good people have some very bad ideas." Okay, so that is a very good point to consider because some people tend to be very sensitive, take offense easily, or just label any criticism as an attack. However, and as a personal attack. But as Justice Scalia pointed out, it is not about the person, it is about the idea. As I often tell some people I work with and who work for us now and in the past, I am not mad at you. I am mad at what you just did and what you did wrong. Okay, so it is about the idea, the action, and not about the person. So, yun po, no, walang personalan, trabaho lang. Yun yung tamang concept niyan. Okay, let's now go to the front page of the Philippine Star, dramatic images in the Philippine Star, and you will see that. But first, the headline, government appeals ICC ruling on drug probe. The Philippine government has asked the International Criminal Court, or ICC, to suspend the preliminary investigation into the alleged crimes against humanity committed in relation to the Davao Death Squad and the Duterte administration's deadly campaign against illegal drugs. That request or appeal has been submitted through the office of the Solicitor General Menardo Guevara. Meanwhile, okay, at the top of the front page, Philippines suspends household worker deployment in Kuwait. The Department of Migrant Workers has decided to suspend the deployment of newbies or first-time OFWs or workers going to Kuwait. Kumbaga, no newbies, no first-timers until the Philippine and the Kuwaiti government come to an agreement on how best to protect these people, because mahirap nga naman po yung mga newbies hindi alam ang gagawin pag nagkakawindang-windang na yung relasyon nila. Okay. Meanwhile, Marcos wants closer collaboration with Japan. You will see in that photo President Bongbong Marcos yesterday walking up the ladder to his plane. I think, medyo kakaiba nga lang yung ladder na yan. Maraming bulaklak. Anyway, President Bongbong Marcos left for Japan yesterday and declared that he wants closer collaboration with Japan on mutual defense, renewable energy, and many other areas. Okay. And on the right side of the front page, we have government allotting 327 million to boost onion production. Okay, that will be in the form of seeds and putting up 7 storage facilities so that when onion farmers are able to harvest, they can put them in cold storage, which will keep them down for approximately 7 to 10 months. Now, the 7 storage facilities mostly will be assigned to certain organizations, okay, or cooperatives to operate. Yan po. At the center of the front page, very dramatic photographs of the survivors and victims of the 7.6 ba yun, no? 7.8 magnitude earthquake in Turkey and in Syria. Okay, you will see in that photo all about children alive. Okay, the heading says rescue workers pull Ada Gesgin, approximately 3 or 4 years old, from the rubble of a building in Izmir, Turkey on Tuesday, 91 hours after the building collapsed. Below shows, or to the left of your screen, okay, to the left of your screen shows the photo shows an unnamed 7-year-old girl who kept her hand on her little brother's head to protect him while they were trapped under the rubble in Syria. The image was shared on Twitter by the UN representative Mohammad Safa. Okay, the siblings reportedly escaped safely 17 hours after the earthquake. Yun po, at least the children survived it. And we continue to ask our viewers, please pray for the people of Turkey and Syria because they are going through winter, and this disaster is not going to be an easy situation for many of them. Okay. Meanwhile, the OWA verifying if Pinoy among quake dead. Okay, because there have been reports that 1 to 3 Filipinos may have been fallen victim to the earthquake, although the Philippine Embassy in Turkey declared that 2 who were injured are now okay. Meanwhile, Cha-Cha, okay, hindi po ito yung sayaw. Here is another attempt of members of Congress to meddle with the Constitution. House vows to focus on economic provisions only. And jobless rate up slightly in December. Kung kailan inaasahan mong mas dadami ang hinahanap ng trabahador, ayun po. The unemployment rate went up slightly in December from the previous month, but the number of Filipinos looking for additional work declined according to the PSA. Kumbaga, tumaas yung jobless rate kasi kumonti yung naghahanap ng trabaho. Ganun ba yun? Okay. SC Junks Mandamus petition of Dengbaksya victim skin. Okay, because the victims of Dengbaksya, I think 17 families, went to the Supreme Court, filed for a petition for mandamus against former DOH officials, and as it turns out, the Justice Leonen pointed out na it was lacking in substance and it is not the right petition. Okay. Further down, you have Los Angeles Lakers forward LeBron James shaking hands with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar after breaking his NBA all-time record of 38,388 points during the game against the Oklahoma City Thunders. Okay, yan, hindi Thunders, Thunder. Okay. Now, meantime, last but not the least, Is your house quake resilient? Check out this app, okay? According to the Department of Science and Technology, Philippine Institute of Seismology and Volcanology, DOST PHIVOLCS has reminded the public to use a mobile app that it developed several years ago and is readily accessible to check the structural integrity of their homes. Sabi po yan ni Science Secretary Renato Solidum during his interview appearance on One News programs, The Chiefs. Okay, so check it online. And that's all we have for the front page of the Philippine Star. Kindly get your copy today or get a subscription or go online for the news as it is reported by the Philippine Star. We'll go for a quick break, and when we return, I'll tell you what we're going to be featuring on today's program. Welcome back to the program agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran. And our topic for today, if you are a teacher, you are wishing, hoping to become a teacher, like our Apo-Apohan Christine Biliran in Lipa City, you should listen to today's program because it has a lot to do with education, with the quality of teachers, the licensure exams, etc. And just as a background, the Philippine Business for Education recently did a study on the performance of teachers' education in the Philippines from 2010 to 2022. And apparently, the results were not ideal. Some people found it alarming, and people are worried that it may lead to another wave of censure, of discipline, or baka mamaya kung ano-ano namang policy ang lumabas. But before things go crazy and confusing, we've invited the representative of the Philippine Business for Education to find out what is PBEd and what is this study telling them and we should know about. Okay, Gab, please roll out the Betamax.
Diane Fajardo-Valencia is the Deputy Executive Director of the Philippine Business for Education, or PBEd. For the past 10 years, Fajardo-Valencia has been involved in managing educational initiatives that offer scholarships to those who wish to become teachers, as well as training programs for out-of-school youth.
Okay, good morning, Diane. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Sir Cito.
Okay, now, first of all, paki-explain nga sa viewers natin, ano ba yung PBEd or Philippine Business for Education? Because after that intro, medyo nabago yung impression ko. I thought you were an institution doing analysis, surveys, etc. And then now, para kayong scholarship institution. Ano ba talaga ang PBEd?
Yeah, thank you po. So, ang PBEd, ang Philippine Business for Education, so we are an advocacy NGO, policy advocacy NGO, but we implement programs, especially education programs, scholarship programs for teachers to test the idea of our policy recommendations at the same time. Gather data and then eventually recommend policies. Pero we are made up of, or we were established by the country's top CEOs. Actually, Sir Manny Pangilinan is one of our board members. So because back in 2006, no, when the CEO saw the declining quality of education, they were really concerned because education is an important factor for employability and also productiveness of a country. So it's really alarming to see that our learners are not learning. And 15 years after, it also worsened. So hopefully with our research, with our programs, with our data, we can recommend policies that can improve the education sector.
So did I get it right? You are not a business. You're not a company per se. Kasi a lot of people would have that impression, company yan, nagbibigay ng ganyang services. You're actually an organization supported by CEOs like Mr. Manny Pangilinan, our chairman, in order to ensure that the quality of education is competitive and up to par, because it's also good for business. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. So we're a non-profit. So given our board members, so the concept is to rally the voice of the business community to recommend education reforms in the country, because they are also part of the stakeholders of our education sector. Eventually, they will employ our learners.
Yeah, because I have heard complaints from CEOs, executives, managers. Their angles is so broken. They do not know their verbs and their grammars, etc. And then yung iba naman, bringing it to a higher level, Cito, what's going on with education in the Philippines? The students, the kids do not have critical thinking, critical thought is not encouraged, etc. Now, you guys put up this recent study na medyo hindi lang kayo na-dyaryo, na-radyo pa kayo, na
lahat ng media.
lahat ng media, biglang pinag-usapan yung recent study ninyo. Could you share that with our viewers, Diane? What actually caused this to happen? What triggered it? And what was the outcome?
Actually, Sir Cito, we've been monitoring the licensure exam licensure examination performance of schools o yung mga TEIs o teacher schools. So ito po yung mga schools that teach teacher education o BS education.
Mm.
So we've been monitoring them since 2013 pa, and we've also released that data and that study. But 10 years after, we've seen the similar result na majority actually for this year, we have a 12-year data. 56% of the schools in the Philippines have below national passing rate of 40%. So ang national average passing rate of all the students is below 40% for 37 and 40% for elementary and secondary. But 56, so mababa na yung passing rate to begin with.
Mm.
Pero 56%.
Okay, I think naghang yung kasi na pinapara po natin si Diane. So we're gonna have to wait for her signal to buffer to at least catch up. I think there she's caught up already. Okay, Diane, come back. So you said 56% of all schools are below the national average of passing rates for the last 12 years. Oh, nawala na naman. Okay. Gab, can we try to just put Diane on audio instead of video if there's a problem, because I think she's mobile. But anyway, we'll go for a quick break, ladies and gentlemen, but please bear with us because importante po ito, because according to that study, about 56% of colleges have passing rates, but they are below the 12-year average national rate for overall takers, both for primary or elementary and secondary high school education courses. Medyo may problema tayo. We will go for a break. We will be right back here on Agenda. Diane, are you there?
Hi, Sir Cito. I'm so sorry I got disconnected.
Okay lang. So maybe we'll just stay on audio na lang and then we'll just put the photo, your photo. Kasi
Okay.
baka ma-disrupt yung conversation.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, welcome back to the program agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, and we will have to go via audio in our conversation with Diane Fajardo-Valencia, Deputy Executive Director of the Philippine Business for Education, a nonprofit organization that promotes the quality of education in relation to the needs of the business community. Okay, Diane, are you there?
Yes, sir, Sir Cito.
Okay, let's
I'm here.
continue with
Yes.
your story regarding this recent test, or well, not test, but study conducted by the PBEd or PBEd on the state of education, the quality of teachers, and etc.
Yes, sir. So we did a study. It comprised of a 12-year data of the licensure exam of those who took the BLEP or yung licensure examination for professional teachers. So it's a 12-year data that we crunched, and then we saw that yun nga po, 56% or more than half of all of our teacher schools or those offering BS education have below national average passing rate. And our national average passing rate is low to begin with. It's just less than 40%. So it just shows that our teacher schools are giving low quality education for those
Low quality,
teachers.
yeah. Okay, so Diane, let's be clear about this. The national average is 40% lang. So
Yes,
all
sir.
the people who take the licensure examination for teachers for education, only 40% at the most pass the exam. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Over the 12
and
years.
56% of the 40% are below or mababa compared to the national average.
56% of all the schools in the Philippines, sir, are below
All
40%.
the schools, grabe. So talagang teachers pa lang, teacher education pa lang and training, medyo may problema na.
Tama, sir. But this is assuming that the licensure exam is relevant and appropriate as a measure of becoming a teacher. Kasi for the longest time din po, hindi po transparent o hindi rin po nare-review yung ating licensure exam. So we also don't know if it reflects what the DepEd needs and what the teacher education schools are teaching. So yun din po, kailangan din po natin yung na-review kasi bakit ganun din karami yung bumabagsak. So we need to study kung saan ba yung may disconnect.
So in other words, baka nare-recycle lang din yung mga exams na binibigay ng Regulatory Commission?
We don't know that, sir, but hopefully we can study it. Meron po tayong batas, yung Excellence in Teacher Education Act, or the TEC law. So yung TEC, which is chaired by DepEd, should review or let questions in coordination with PRC and CHED. So sana po this year ma-review na nila kasi it's really telling na ganito yung performance ng mga teacher schools natin.
Okay, now, there is this point that is being raised naman. First-time takers of teachers' board exams have higher passing rates than repeaters. Repeaters have a higher likelihood of failing again. So, lumalabas kung bumagsak, malamang babagsak ulit. Wow, why is this the case? Talaga bang, is this telling us that wherever those failing teachers went to school, talagang mahina yung quality? May ginagawa ba kayong study on diploma mills or talagang substandard teacher education centers?
Yung mga repeaters, tama po, no, around 20% lang yung passing rate nila. So once na nag-fail sila sa unang try, nanghirapan na rin talaga silang pumasa. So unfortunately, we romanticize na, 10th time na niya nag-take tapos pumasa siya. It's good na resilient yung individual, but we should also ask what happened in between o during his or her training na bakit hindi sapat, diba? So, tama po. So, yung mga first-time takers, pag pumasa, okay na yon. Pero yung mga repeaters, ang dami talaga nila eh. 20% lang yung passing rate nila. So, ibig sabihin, ang dami talagang hindi pumapasa. O kapag nag-train po sila, siguro hindi handa yung training nila o hindi sapat yung natutunan nila sa school, or pwede rin hindi sapat yung natutunan nila even in basic ed. Pero na-admit pa rin sila sa teacher education. And tama, yung diploma mill, sir, we have a lot of that. And actually, this study also shows that na more than half are low, at the same time, ang dami rin talagang mga schools natin din po sa study, ang dami ring schools na below 25% ang passing rate nila. And unfortunately, madami pong schools ang low performing o below 25% na nasa Mindanao. And yun nga, kabit-kabit na rin yun, sir, no? Yung quality of education that the students are getting, tapos poverty and productivity, employment, etc. So it's sad na yung problema po sa ating tertiary education, especially yung teacher education, no, na we have diploma mill, nakaka-apekto sa overall socio-economic situation ng isang lugar o ng buong bansa.
Okay, so who is supposed to be monitoring these schools, these licensure exam results? Because, I mean, you would think PRC would already sound the alarm na, teka, it's been 10 or 12 years, pababa ng pababa yung ating mga passing rates, etc. And then, wait a minute, we have 20% of repeaters. Alam ko, it's redundancy, pero sabi nila, umaabot pa ng take 3, take 4. Now, how many repeaters are we talking about, Diane?
Sir, sorry, I just don't have my database with me, but hundreds of thousands for sure, sir, since teacher education is one of the most subscribed courses in college. So I think second siya sa BS Business Administration. So madami po talaga, and actually, I think 1/5 of all of the college graduates and even students, no, are composed of BS education students. So imagine po yung one out of 5 college students, BS education po yung kinukuha nila. At pagka-graduate nila, madami sa kanila yung pumapasa. Madami sa kanila yung hindi pumapasa.
Okay, so there are many who graduate the course but don't pass the licensure exam. So in effect, you failed the entire undertaking. Now, okay, if there are hundreds of thousands of students and want to be teachers who fail, why has this not been noticed in the past so many years? Meron na bang nag-sound ng alarm? Meron na bang aksyon? And who is supposed to be on top of this?
Sir, sadly, neither PRC or CHED is monitoring the longitudinal or the longitudinal performance or the year-to-year performance of the schools. Yun nga po, back in 2013, we sounded the alarm, and I think back in 2015 and I think in 2020, we also sounded the alarm. So we are happy to turn over our database to either PRC or CHED because yung PRC po, every year lang sila naglalabas ng exam. Okay, ito yung school performance, ito yung mga pumasa, but no one is tracking the performance over the year. So we've encoded that, and we're happy to turn over to the authorities yung aming database for them to continue encoding every year and really track what are the performance of our school.
Okay, another point that I noticed in the data sent to me by Team Agenda based on your study, which is very, it's a concern for me. Over 81% of schools, ito yung teacher education schools, tagged as centers of excellence, and over 91% of schools tagged as centers of development are not high-performing. Kumbaga, sinasabing center of excellence, pero as far as their licensure examinees are concerned, hindi sila excellent in their scores.
Yes, sir. So we defined high performing as schools with 75 and above passing rate. So, di ba, since Center of Excellence ka or Center of Development, you have that name that your instruction is of quality. But sadly, yun nga po, majority of them are really performing bad in the licensure exam because it's not 95. It's lower than expected given their status.
Kumbaga, imbis na nagtatap sila nung nursing licensure exams, parang average lang din sila. Konti lang ang nagtatap. Most of them are run-of-the-mill.
Yes, sir. So, I think yung sa kanila, madaming mga pumapasa pero ilan lang yung nagtatap. Or, well, sometimes hindi talaga nagtatap. Actually, we discovered a school in Zamboanga na Center of Development pero below 25% yung passing rate niya.
So out of 100, only below
so
25 pass the exams.
Yes, sir. So,
Aray ko.
and it's a public school, so funded siya by taxpayers' money, pero it's really not delivering. But at the same time, we should also ask if proper support is given to them. Kasi yun nga, especially the schools in Mindanao and BARM, kasi dun din po sa data namin na ang dami po talagang low-performing schools in BARM. And also, they need that support since mas kailangan nila more than ever ng mga magagaling na teachers.
Yeah, but what is being done about it? Or is anyone doing something about this? Or meron bang congressman man lang na nag-react?
No one has reacted, sir. Hopefully, we can work with them through the EDCOM. So we transmitted our study to our respective EDCOM members, and at the same time to DepEd, to CHED, to PRC. Hopefully, we can collaborate and really see what's really wrong or saan po yung disconnect. Kasi the data somehow reflects that what's being taught and what's being tested is different from what's really needed in the classroom. So, saan tayo magsisimula? Parang kailangan natin magpatay-sunog talaga.
Okay,
Even
but
our learning
aside from doing the statistical analysis, study of licensure examinees, etc., has the PBEd done any study regarding that particular problem? The curriculum for people who want to be teachers, the content of the licensure exams, and the impact on the classroom of those teachers?
So we haven't done a study regarding the questions because PRC won't release it. So hopefully through the TEC Council, we can partner with them, with DepEd, and then help them analyze the questions. But we had on the flip side, we had a study, we had a scholarship program wherein we attracted the best and the brightest. These are high potential individuals in their high schools, and then nung college sila, we were really stringent on our admissions, and then we supported them. We gave them financial support, mentoring, etc. to enroll them in the best schools. And we saw na 99.9% yung passing rate nila. And then when they taught in the public school, around 89% percentile sila as highly regarded by their supervisors or by their principal. So we can see na magaling talaga yung mga teachers kapag sinala natin sila sa una pa lang. However, sadly, because of the diploma mills, many would like to parang they're taking advantage of those who want to enroll in education courses. They're not so sadly, no, parang these people who would like to become teachers, hindi sila na train ng maayos because these diploma mills are just concerned of the tuition. Yun nga. Tapos hindi sila selective. So kahit sino. And let's admit it, meron po, di ba, may minsan po naririnig natin and sadly, sinasabi po nila, mag-teacher ka na lang. And that shouldn't be the case kasi dapat kapag teacher, sila yung magagaling, sila yung very passionate, may puso at the same time brains, no, utak, para talaga magturo kasi sila yung kailangan sa classroom at kailangan talaga magaling yung mga nasa classroom given our learning poverty now.
Okay, so clearly screening, selection, monitoring, support is very important, but also there are other factors because I am reminded of a particular case, isang nursing student who was on a government scholarship. And I remember I recently spoke to her and ang nangyari, yung kanilang parang introduction to internship, sinabay doon sa review week for their examination. And of course, if you're doing internship at napuyat ka doon sa hospital and then meron kang examination the week after, di syempre lagapak, the student lost her scholarship. So ayan. Anyway, we'll go for a quick break. And when we return, we will continue our conversation with Diane Fajardo-Valencia of the PBEd. We'll be right back here on Agenda. Okay, the time is 8:45 in the morning. It's Thursday, and our guest, we continue our conversation, is none other than Diane Fajardo-Valencia of the Philippine Business for Education, or PBEd. And Diane, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm still here.
Okay, now I want to go back to that point you raised. Nasabi mo, the Philippine Business in Education or for Education, you also have scholarships. You have candidates for a degree in education. Now, your results are far better than those who are independently enrolling. Now, tell us a little more of that program of PBEd, and why is it not being adopted by, at least not all of it, of course, pero most of it by government and private institutions?
Okay, sir. So it's called 1,000 Teachers Program. Then eventually it it was transformed to Step Up, and then it was funded by the Australian government. But in a nutshell, we recruit the best and the brightest into the teaching profession. So either high school graduates, so they belong to at least top 20 of their high school graduating batch, or yung mga college graduates na who will take certificate in teaching program, but they have really high grades. And then after the first screening, which is the grade, we make them take an aptitude test for teaching, and then after that we interview them, have them do some demo teaching. Then we observe them in groups while they discuss. So very stringent yung admission process, and then we enroll them in the best school. So we also based it in the top notcher ng aming study. So we based it in so they enrolled in Mariano Marcos State University in Ilocos, Ateneo de Naga, Ateneo de Zamboanga, PNU, UP, UST. So mga top notcher schools, doon namin sila nilagay. We supported them. We also gave them mentoring for their social-emotional needs. And we also proved na kailangan din ng mga teachers yon, kasi kailangan patatagin yung puso nila and also prepare them for what's waiting for them in their classrooms. So yeah,
Okay.
we
How
conducted
did
it
you
since
determine
2006.
those schools where you enroll them in? Because apparently your study or the PBEd study pointed that many schools for teacher education are underperforming or have very low passers for licensure. Paano naman yun nasabi na magaling pala itong Ateneo de Naga, Zamboanga, etc., UST, UP?
Yes, sir. So back in 2013, yun nga po, as mentioned a while ago, we also conducted the same study. So study siya from 2009 to 2013, and we also saw that these schools are the top notchers, and actually it's the same 10 years after. So we enrolled them in those schools to ensure that the quality of instruction is guaranteed. No? So yun po. So I think ang key for good or like high-performing teachers are strict admission or like selective admission, high support during their training, and quality instruction by the teacher schools.
Yeah, but Diane,
That's for the
how do we
pre-service.
deal with that problem? Because for many families, it's a one-shot deal. Biglang lalapit yung anak mo sa'yo, Papa, gusto ko pong maging nurse. Nay, magne-nursing po ako or magne-nursing or magti-teacher na lang ako. Okay, as you mentioned kanina, parang kung mahina ka, mag-teacher ka na lang or mahina loob mo, mag-teacher ka na lang. But is there a series of exams, profiling, readily available para sa mga estudyanteng who want to take the exam? Because we have ewan ko kung meron pa kayo nun, yung National College Entrance Exam. Merong mga aptitude exams sa some private schools, but most public schools don't have anything of the sort.
Yeah. Sadly, sir, we don't have that national exam to test the aptitude of those who want to become teachers. Kasi di ba po sa doktor, meron tayong NMAT. Um, However, sa teaching profession, wala. We had to commission or parang we had to tap Center for Educational Measurement to administer their Philippine Aptitude Test for teachers. So yun po yung tinatake namin sa kanila before we admitted them to ensure that they have the aptitude for it.
Hindi ba,
However,
is this a
it's not public.
complicated exam, Diane, that you can't just take online? Because syempre nakakaawa na nga yung estudyante, mas nakakaawa naman yung magulang na magtutustos para sa matrikula who will spend so much money, hard-earned money, and then end up with someone who turns out does not have the aptitude, the disposition, or the mental capacity required of high-caliber teachers.
Sadly, sir, there's no public exam for that. But hopefully with our data set, no, and it's also public, it's on our website, people can visit our website and then look at our database and see if yung mga schools ba na gusto nilang pasukan have high-performing history in the list. Kasi, di ba, parang dapat dun sila mag-enroll dun sa school na na masisigurado or at least matatasan yung chances nila ng pagpasa. But
what about Diane, yung exam na binibigay nyo or profiling na binibigay nyo sa mga potential scholars of PBEd? Hindi ba pwedeng i-share yan sa PBEd website and for students, high school students who take it online and kasi may mga ganun, di ba? May mga strengths finder, etc. But you have to buy the book. It is just so commercially driven. Can PBEd or will PBEd come up with that testing module so students will know, pwede ba ako mag-teacher o mag-ano na lang ako? Mag-overseas na lang ako.
Sir, sadly, we didn't make the exam, but it's a good suggestion. We'll also look into that. Yun nga, parang we just commissioned the exam, so iba po yung may-ari ng exam. However, sa teacher education, iba po yung may-ari, it's the Center for Educational Measurement. So parang nagbayad lang din po kami or we partner with them for them to let our scholars or let our applicants take their exam. Pero yun nga po, walang publicly available. But hopefully with the Teacher Education Council, hopefully this year ma-strengthen na at malabas na yung IRR, ma-review nila yung ganong proseso wherein we can look at admission, pre-service and in-service at all at the same time. Kasi while we support the loading of admin duties of our in-service teachers, having them better compensated and diba, parang having better environment for them, we should also look at yung pre-service o yung bago pa sila pumunta sa classroom. Kung if we're preparing them properly to begin with. And sayang din po kasi, di ba? Ang daming diploma mills and as you said, hard-earned money. Tapos, ang ending, hindi lang din sila papasa. Tapos, they'll be underemployed eventually. So, hopefully, yun nga po, with our data set, people can visit our website so that they can look at their prospective schools if maayos ba yung licensure passing rate. And at the same time, hopefully, we can work with the TEC and the EDCOM for us to review our licensure exam questions. Kasi we also don't know if it's reflecting what's being taught and what's actually needed and
being tested.
And also being tested. And
parang yung LTO driver's exam, may nag-complain sa akin, Sir, does it snow in the Philippines? Sabi ko, of course not. You might have hail once in a while. Sir, bakit merong snow doon sa test ng LTO driver's exam? Sabi ko, ewan ko ba? Okay, so your point is very valid, Diane. Now, here's the question. What is the reaction of our CEOs, the leaders of Philippine business, because in the long term, having poor quality graduates is going to translate to having poor quality employees and executives. Meron na bang plano or have you made a proposal to our Philippine CEOs to call for maybe a summit or a meeting of the minds with CHED, DepEd, the Office of the President, etc., to address this? So apparently there is no testing module for students who want to be teachers. There is no monitoring of the outcomes for all of these licensure exams, and there is still no analysis of content correlation and relevance.
So, sir, they're really supportive of the study, and at the same time, we are involved in the EDCOM too. So, hopefully, through the EDCOM too, we can talk about these issues. We also have an upcoming summit this February 16 to 17. So, it invited the university presidents all over the country, our legislative members, our members of the Senate and Congress, at the same time CHED, DepEd. So hopefully with that summit, we can also talk about teacher quality because it's really pressing. Yun. Ang dami po talagang kailangan gawin, but hopefully we can, through the TEC, EDCOM, and through our partnership with DepEd in curriculum review, especially for senior high school, we can fix our problems in education, or at least some of them.
Okay, now for those who are interested to know more about the Philippines Philippine Business Education, tama ba yung sabi ko? PBEd, okay, Philippine Business for Education. How do they contact you? What's your website, Facebook for PBEd?
Yeah, so our website is pbed.ph, and then our Facebook is Philippine Business for Education.
Okay, well, Diane Fajardo-Valencia, thank you very much for your time, and hopefully this won't be the last. We will certainly want to follow and monitor your discoveries because we want quality teachers who get all the best help so our future is secured. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sir Cito. Good morning.
Okay, God bless you. Okay, that's Diane Fajardo-Valencia, Deputy Executive Director of Philippine Business for Education. Let's now go to the closing blessing of the program for this week, and it comes from the book of Psalms 19, verse 14. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my Redeemer. We pray that the authorities, the experts, the universities will all come together, not in contradiction of each other or conflict, but think of the future of teachers in the Philippines because they in turn will affect the future of Filipinos all over. God bless all of you. Please keep it here on One News.